Okay, it's me again, AJ Menendez. As you can see, I am tucked and untaped, but it really doesn't even matter for this. I would like to discuss my biggest pet peeve, and that is the ability to lip sync. It drives me absolutely crazy when an entertainer, it doesn't matter if it's a king or an MI or a queen, it drives me batty when they get up on the stage and they don't know the lyrics to their own numbers. You know, they do that watermelon, or they put the head down, or they put the hands in front of the face. It drives me crazy. When it comes to lip sync, you have to know your lyrics like as if you wrote the song. Every syllable, every word, every single time. If you do not know the lyrics, like every single one of them, don't do it until you have it down. Because you would be surprised how many people in the audience pay attention to your lip sync. And you don't want them, you know, you want them to talk about you after a show, but you want positive feedback. You don't want it getting around, oh, so-and-so is a bad entertainer, he never knows his words, he just stands in the middle of the stage and he basically does nothing. You know, y'all know shit gets all over Facebook. And it gets around quick. You want them to continue to come back and see you. You want them to go to all their friends and say, oh, God, you have to come out and see this individual. He's an amazing entertainer. And part of that is having your lip sync down. When you decide on a song, be passionate about it. If you're doing an angry rock song, get angry. Allow your facial expressions to express exactly what it is that you are performing. If you're doing an R&B, let your expressions show that. You know, just don't get up in the middle of the stage and move your mouth. They don't want to see that. They will not come back for it. Don't get up there and move your lips like this. They're not going to understand you. You know, you're in a venue and it's loud and people are talking and drinking and having a good time. And if they can't see your mouth moving, they're not going to understand what the hell you're talking about. When I started to perform, it's no secret that I started out as a girly foo-foo. And way before I joined 100 degrees Celsius and met Gage, there was a drag queen. Her name was Rice-A-Roni. I don't even know if she's around anymore. But I was practicing for my first number. And I was kind of shy, so I didn't know what to do as far as the lip sync other than stand up there and just move my mouth like this. And I love my queens because they're blunt and to the point. And so for this, it worked. She sat me down and she told me that when it came to lip syncing, to lip sync like I was giving a blowjob, accentuate my lips and hang on every syllable. And I know that that sounds really, really freakish, but it worked. You know what I'm saying? I don't keep my mouth shut. You know, when we were little itty bitty kids, we would be jamming, well, at least I was, I don't know about anybody else, but at least I'd be jamming to a song that I liked with the hairbrush in the mirror. Practice your lip sync like that. That's a good way to do it. And make sure that, you know, you could be understood from your audience. Your audience and your fans are going to become your best friends. Without your following, you're not going anywhere. I absolutely positively adore my fans. I have got some of the most loyal fans out there, you know, and I try to hang out with them after the shows are over, and I will take the time to talk to them and let them know that I'm not just an entertainer. I'm an everyday Joe Schmo. You know, and they love that, and that's one of the reasons why they keep coming back. I can tell you that lip sync is one of my stronger points. You know, I'm not the best of the best, but I do know that lip syncing is one of my stronger points. And I pay attention to what I'm going to do. Sometimes you'll have a song and you'll know 95% of it. But there's always those little itty bitty words that you just can't get down. Don't do the song until you have them down. Look up the lyrics on lyrics.com and read them as you're listening to it. Sometimes you may have to listen to one verse at a time on repeat. Instead of listening to the whole song on repeat, repeat one verse at a time until you have that verse down and then move on to the next one. It's repetitive and it's a pain in the ass. And usually by the time you do the song, you're sick of hearing it and you don't ever want to do it again. But it will become memorable. Don't stand in the middle of the stage and just do the number. You know, move around the room and get involved with your audience. When you're collecting a tip, don't just snatch the tip and run. You know, to them that's an insult. You know, they're there to see you. So you need to show them that you appreciate their presence. Try to spend anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds in front of each person that is offering you a tip. You know, you can hold their hand, you can brush their face, you can dance around in front of them and make them feel like they're important, because they are. I've said it time and time again, the venue owners are really, really iffy when it comes to booking MIs, because in their minds, we're nothing more than a bunch of girls in boys' clothes getting up there and moving our mouths. We need to show them that we're more than that. And if you don't know your songs and you don't put in that effort, they're not going to want you to keep coming back. They're just going to be like, okay, I've had enough, I wash my hands and I'm done. And unfortunately, that happens a lot in this business. You know, MIs don't get the same recognition and the same notoriety as the queens. If you ever go to a queen show, you know, most of the time they are on point and they put on a show. We have to do the same thing if we are expected to do what we do. You know, and the biggest part of it is knowing your words. You know, it's okay if you forget a word or two in the middle of a number. I think it happens to everybody. I know it has happened to me. And if you make a mistake, just keep on going. Don't stop and kick yourself in the ass and storm off the stage. I've seen that happen. You know, just keep going. I have forgotten the lyrics of a number that I'm getting ready to do up until they call my name and the music starts. You know, don't panic. It does happen. It happens to the best of us. But do your best to make sure that you know it as if you wrote it. And be just as passionate and involve your audience. If you're a newcomer and you're shy, I've said this before, have your friends come in for the first couple of performances, and rather than sit in one designated spot, spread them around the room. And go to your friends and collect a tip, and then while you're in that area, you'll notice that other people are trying to tip you. That's a good way to get used to lip syncing and motivating yourself around the bar. You have to include the whole audience. You can't just stay stuck on one side of the room. You know, people will get bored. You'd be surprised that audiences get bored very, very easily. You constantly have to keep them entertained, and it's a challenge. It really is a challenge. I've gotten days where I get in my little ruts. Well, I don't know what I want to do with this, and I don't know what I want to do with that, and it's okay to feel like that. But the minute you take the stage as if you own it. You know, take advantage of the space that you're in. If you're doing a number that's going to require you to dance, they love it. They love all the energy and whatnot. But don't get up on the stage and dance around and stare at your feet. They can't see what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Or don't get up on the stage and pay more attention to one person than you do to another. They love it when you're all up in their face and you're literally singing like as if you wrote the song just for them. They need to believe that. And if they do, then they will keep coming back and you will intrigue them, and that's what you want. You have to understand that if people don't come to see you, you're not going anywhere. And that's just pure, unadulterated fact. Your professionalism, they will pay attention to. And it gets frustrating sometimes. It really, really does. And it gets repetitive. But if this is something that you want to do, then you literally have to put your all into it. You can't half-ass this. This is not something that you can half-ass. You know, don't think that you can get away with it. I've seen entertainers get up on the stage and put their heads down or put their hands in and it's not cute. You know, real quick I will get bored and say, no, that's not the way it should be done. You know, put your heart into it. And it's also very, very normal to, you'll hear a song and the only thing that stays in your head is the hook or the chorus. Cool. But take the time to learn the rest of it. Lip sync, I cannot stress it enough. It is one of the most important things of being an entertainer. That's why they come to see you. So I hope that that has helped. Practice, practice, practice. And if there's any questions that you might have, you know where to reach me. Facebook. Have a good one.